Hey guys, Ajax 22 here, and today we're going to show you the footage of the SlutHammer getting laser engraved. It's kind of an interesting process, although it gets a little bit old watching it for so long. And we're not actually showing you everything that happened. We're doing one pass of the laser etching, and there were at least three. We really blasted this into the metal. Most traditional laser engraving is either done just at the surface level, or they do the quote-unquote deep engraving option that you pay a little more for because it eats up a lot more machine time. But this is sort of a lot more than traditional deep laser engraving. I wanted to make it so that it was without compromising the barrel integrity. Obviously was not going anywhere. This laser engraving is comparable to heavy mechanical engraving, which is what I was kind of going for. And all the engraving had that. I believe the muzzle might not be as deep as the SlutHammer on the side, or the Ajax Arms on the side of the frame. In fact, I think the Ajax Arms on the side of the frame might be the deepest engraving of all. SlutHammer was deep, but it was also rather nuanced and required quite a bit of fine work with the laser. With the Ajax Arms, it was a very small amount of text, and I think they just blasted it into the metal. It's really amazing. The high-pitched noise is not actually, at least I don't think, is a process of, it's not the laser you're hearing, it's the laser hitting the metal and I don't know, acoustically resonating it as it turns the metal into like a plasma. That's what I was told it was. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, it's kind of neat, kind of nifty, kind of irritating to listen to a lot of. I really don't know how the guys do it. Yeah, Sure Shot Precision over at, they're based out of the Ajax Tactical Suite in Burbank, I think it is. Guys did an amazing job, helped me with the graphic layout, picking out the font for the text. Went above and beyond on this one, they really did. Cannot recommend those guys highly enough. The engraving process was originally going to be done as a pantograph system. I was going to borrow my buddy's pantograph and sort of hope that I could get that kind of a curvature out of it. Maybe turn a couple of blanks for the to practice with, but yeah, the laser engraving was just such a better option. It really allowed a lot of versatility. Instead of having to, custom print and then engrave a plate, or make a tracing that I would then have to mechanically copy with the stylus. I mean, you just sort of pick the image that you want and say, I want it here, and I don't want it to, I want it to be in line with this, and I guess it's very simple to do in a so-so manner. The nuance that really comes from the guys that know what they're doing is, setting it up in a way that it's in perfect parallel to the various features that you want to see. Perfectly parallel to the ejector tube housing in this case, to the front sight, to the frame. And then doing it without having a dedicated fixture for the rig. Just setting it on some V-blocks and a chunk of wood. I mean, it takes a lot of, little bits of shimming and getting it just perfect to make that work. I wouldn't want to do, especially the muzzle engraving. That took some special work. They didn't do a video of that one, and you're not allowed to go back there when this machine's running. It's kind of a safety/insurance issue, which, I mean, given what it's doing to that metal, can't really complain too much. But yeah, the fixturing for the muzzle had to have been involved, because they don't regularly do revolvers. Mostly what they do is semi-automatics, a lot of Glock engraving, Springfields, guys that want to do tactical tribute guns or Punisher themed stuff. They also have a really cool process for doing a digital camouflage burned into polymer, which is really kind of neat looking. They actually managed to get a couple of different shades of coloration out of just the regular plastic. I mean, guys do some neat work, but they mixed it up for this, and in very short order for the amount and the depth of engraving that they did, turned out a amazing product. Yeah, very, very nuanced, and so much better than anything I could have possibly done with a pantograph. I mean, maybe if I'd gotten somebody who does, high-end jewelry engraving, and, told them that I wanted a calligraphy thing. I mean, I'd have to do the artwork first, and then they'd have to, transfer it using, it's not Dicam, it's well, maybe it would be Dicam for engraving, I don't know. Some form of transfer like you do on a tattoo, and then mechanically go over it, or they could freehand it. But I think the guy that you could pay to freehand something like this would cost quite a bit more than what they're charging to do for machine time on these laser things. Yeah, I love the concept that you can just say, hey, we're gonna put this image onto that gun and go with it and have it come out, as clean and as crisp as it does on this. Yeah, I mean, if anybody's ever used a pantograph and screwed up and, gotten that little chip or that scratch or that, whoops, it really irritates you. I've done it a couple of times on a couple of AR lowers that I've played with over the years. And it's, an expensive learning process. I love watching this thing run. Listening to it, not so much, but yeah. It was really cool of the guys to actually film this too, because I was curious as to what it would look like when it was running. It would just sort of, the metal would disappear or what. But there's actually, I think it's a superheated plasma that's created at the surface of the metal. Either some form of reflected array. Has to be a reflector. Has to be. Wish I'd gotten to see a little bit more of the machine. It instead of buying an expensive car, I think I could. I think it might be fun to buy one of these machines and just laser engrave everything in the house. I mean, it would just be fun. But yeah, given what machine time runs on these things, they can't be cheap. Not to do this kind of work. Love this stuff. Anyway, so now that we've got the engraving pretty much handled on the SlutHammer, it's a matter of assembling the components, doing a Parkerize. I mean, we got to do a machine. Ultimately, we're going to have to do some brass machine work. The brass grip frames are running, $375 if you can find one, and then probably have to buy an older one that's not exactly the right style, and then machine it to modify it to fit. Which, ouch, sucks. But yeah, we'll get the custom components made, fit it on there, Parkerize it, do some custom loads, and shoot it. Anyway, it came out beautiful. Thanks to the guys at Sure Shot Precision for making this happen, and I hope you found this as entertaining as I did. So thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.